So I've apparently just been handed a video of a girl in Congress crying over gay marriage being a thing. Not crying because she thought that human rights were going to be taken away. No. Crying because human rights were being given. And okay. I was unaware of this happening. I guess we'll check that out here in a sec. First, though, as always, let's go ahead and get into the fan art section. First one we have here is from the Baroness. Bloop. Just bloop. Oh, God. It was zoomed in a lot. The next one we have is from I Don't Know. I did a fan art. It's my first one, so I hope you like it. I do like it. I think the fan art is wonderful. The next one we have here is from The Fish Out of Water. Said, I love that Suris featured my art right as I was finishing up another fan art. I decided to design a Christmas-themed outfit for Suris, even though it's only November. Gotta keep up those capitalist trends. That, and I didn't know when I'd have time to actually do this, given that I only have 3 weeks of school left this semester. I have a lot of studying to do for finals. But you know what? This is a very, very wonderful Christmas Suris. I like it a lot. I would not mind having another Christmas Suris outfit design done, but I don't have the funds, and it would not be completed in time, no matter which artist grabbed it. So I will simply admire the work and fantasize about what could have been. That said, as always, everybody, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it in the fan art section of the Discord. With that all said, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. But as for me, we should probably go ahead and take a listen to this video here. So this is Representative Vicky Hartzler. Let's go ahead and take a listen to what she has to say, in her own words, about marriage equality.
Mr. Speaker, I'll tell you my priority. Protect religious liberty.
Okay? And
Full of
buffering.
faith, and protect Americans who believe in the true meaning of marriage. I hope and pray that my colleagues will find the courage to join me in opposing this misguided and this dangerous bill. And I yield back.
Gentlewoman's time is expired.
Wow. Her priorities are not together. So that crying sounds very fake. What are you talking about, Salem? Her crying sounds very real. And how dare you talk about it not being real? How dare you? How dare you? Anyway, backwards. Thank you for redeeming your points for an ara. You fucking degen. So, this comes to us courtesy of a lovely account called No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, which he compiles a lot of stuff like this over on his Twitter, which is very helpful. But let's go ahead and there's an article on this as well. There's some context. We could spend the entire time making fun of this woman for just being upset that the crime of humans and their rights being recognized in law is a thing. But instead, we could probably be a little more productive if we went ahead and killed this advertisement and take a read at some of the context behind this. Anti-LGBTQ U.S. Representative Vicky Hartzler of Missouri started crying on the House floor Thursday as she begged her fellow representatives to vote against the Reflect for Marriage Act, which would write marriage equality into federal law. And so, just so everybody knows, the reason that this is happening, the reason this conversation is happening at all, is because marriage equality is not actually recognized by American law right now. Marriage equality is recognized because there is a Supreme Court decision And that Supreme Court decision is the only thing that is keeping marriage equality functional right now. And as we saw with Roe v. Wade, a Supreme Court decision can easily be reversed by another case being thrown up in their faces. And since our Supreme Court is currently leaned very, very conservative, it is incredibly easy to get something like gay marriage ripped off of the books simply by having a different Supreme Court opinion come through. So, when you are looking at this situation and you're wondering, well, don't the gays already have marriage? Why do they need more marriage? For one, bitch, polyamorous people would like some marriage too. Can we get some of that pie? Secondly, there's your reasoning. It's literally not coded into law. It's just a Supreme Court decision, which we are currently writing on. And if that Supreme Court decision ever gets overturned, then by not having it codified into law, gay people could have their marriages annulled, or all current marriages would be fine, and then it would be up to individual states to determine whether or not they are okay with gay people getting married, which was the case before the Supreme Court decision. So we would go back to that, and I don't want us going back to that, because if you are going to have legal benefits for marriage available for people, they should be available to all people who engage in marriage. And I'm going to keep saying that applies to poly people too. I think it's really fucking dumb that people in polyamorous relationships have to pick and choose who they actually get married to in their relationship, which can cause people in the polyamorous relationship to have certain really, really disdainful feelings about the picking process and who got married to who and why that happened. Even if they've been with their partner for longer, it doesn't matter. It causes that problem. But, the government definitely doesn't run on helping everybody get their rights in any particular amount of time. But I don't know. I'm not bitter or anything. Let's continue. It goes on to talk about the words that she said here. I'll tell you my priorities: protect religious liberty, protect people of faith. People of faith are not they're not threatened by gay people getting married. Like, if 12,000 gay people get married around you, your marriage still exists. What about polygamy as well? I don't give a fuck. So polyamory can include polygamous marriages, polygynous marriages, and any of that shit. I don't care. Let people who want to get married get married. That I simply don't give a shit. What about? The answer is yes, as long as everybody's an adult and consents. There is your blanket what about. That is your blanket what about for everything. My ability to care past that point diminished a very long time ago. And it lowers down on the scale every day. Then she went on to say, and protect Americans who believe in the true meaning of marriage. I hope and pray that my colleagues will find the courage to be utter nutfucks and oppose this bill that literally just gives people human rights. Paraphrasing, obviously. She then teared up toward the end of her remarks. The House nonetheless passed the act, which will protect the same-sex marriage and interracial married couples, even if the Supreme Court overturns its 2015 marriage equality ruling. Justice Clarence Thomas has called for the court to do just that if an appropriate case comes up. It will assure that the federal government recognizes these marriages and that states recognize those performed in other states, although it doesn't require any state to allow same-sex couples to marry within its borders, as now required under the 2015 Obergefell v. Hodges ruling. The bill will also repeal the Defense of Marriage Act, which has not been enforceable since the Supreme Court found it unconstitutional in Windsor v. the United States in 2013, but it remains on the books. It denied the federal recognition to same-sex marriages and allowed states to deny recognition to such marriages from other states. So you could literally be married in a state where it was completely legal for you to get married, go to a different state, and then just deny you any of your marriage benefits, which include visitation in hospitals, taxes, all kinds of shit. They could just go, yeah, no, none of that. Y'all aren't really married. Y'all never actually really fucked. Do it in front of the senator, otherwise it didn't happen. Or some shit. This will bar anyone acting under a state law from denying full faith and credit to a marriage based on sex, race, ethnicity, or national origin of the spouses. The U.S. Attorney General would have the power to enforce this, and anyone harmed by such a denial would have a right to sue. After the House passed an earlier version of the act in the summer, the Senate added an amendment to allay concerns that the legislation would interfere with religious liberty. The amendment confirms that no nonprofit religious organization would have to provide goods, services, or facilities for wedding ceremonies or receptions, and it clarifies that the federal government would not have to recognize polygamous marriages. I hate this. Thursday's House vote was on the newest version of the bill, which had been passed by the Senate in November. With the amendment, and with the vote, it now goes to President Joe Biden, who has promised to sign it into law. Some Republican senators have proposed more restrictive amendments, all aimed at limiting legal action against people or entities for discrimination. In the Senate, 12 Republicans joined all the Democrats present in voting for the act, and Thursday in the House, 39 Republicans joined all Democrats in approving this bill, but definitely not Hartzler. She has a long anti-LGBT+ record. Back in 2011, in her first term in the U.S. House, she told a gay student who questioned her at a town meeting in Missouri that he shouldn't worry about bans on same-sex marriage. When Missouri amended its state constitution to include such a ban in 2004, it was merely maintaining the status quo. Ah, so she's a liar. That's great. That's my favorite. Backwards. Thank you for redeeming your points for an you fucking degen. The student also asked Hartzler about a comment she had made, warning that letting same-sex couples married would be like letting 3-year-olds drive cars. She insisted that the remark, which was recorded on video, was really taken out of context. Ah, yes. It's always just taken out of context. When you throw their own actual words against them, it is definitely taken out of context. Always. More recently, she has targeted transgender people, because of course she has. Every Republican seems to be doing that these days. In July of 2017, shortly before Donald Trump announced his trans military ban, she proposed an amendment to a defense spending bill that would prevent the government from funding transition-related health care for troops. It was narrowly rejected by the House, with more than 20 Republicans voting against it. Earlier, she had proposed another amendment, this one to reverse the Obama administration's lifting of the ban on trans troops, but withdrew it while making a plea to Defense Secretary James Mattis to take steps to restore readiness and make sure we don't waste precious tax dollars. My guy, your career is a waste of precious tax dollars. Anyway. In other words, she wanted to reinstate the ban. She also voiced concerns about cisgender military members showering with trans people. Trans people are not more or less likely to gain the horny, my guy. Fucking hell. All I can say is this. If you cry about people getting human rights, boo-hoo. My ability to give a crap about your opinion, my ability to give a shit about your reasons why, basically go out the window. I don't have a reason to care. I don't think I'll ever truly be given a good reason to care. Can anyone yeet her from any form of public office? So they can, but they won't, because this is America and people like the status quo. The only thing that changes is whether or not Bill Clinton was responsible for making Elden Ring. That's the only thing that changes in politics. Oh, and whether or not he's a rabbi. That too. That changed as well. But that, you know, that's not a lot of change. That's just a little bit. Anywho, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think that this was a true and legitimate time of crisis for this woman, or do you think she's just a bigot with crocodile tears? Let me know down there. As always, everybody, insert end of video tagline here.